You ever notice how they sell you this big idea when you're a kid? Work hard, stay in school, get a good job. They make it sound like there's this giant magical factory out there just handing out dream jobs. Something with purpose, meaning, health insurance, a shiny desk with your name on it, and maybe even a secretary who laughs at your terrible jokes. They tell you it's all lined up, waiting for you, like a party where you show up and the balloons are already inflated. Well, turns out the balloons are flat, the cake is stale, and you're the entertainment. The whole thing starts early. You're 6 years old. You tell your teacher, "I want to be an astronaut." And they say, "That's wonderful, Timmy. Reach for the stars." They don't mention you'll spend the next 25 years in fluorescent lit boxes filling out forms, waiting for Brenda from HR to approve your dental plan. Astronaut? Forget it. You'll be lucky if you get to be associate assistant trainee of regional data filing. Oh, but hey, it comes with a name tag. Can't put a price on that, huh? See, that's the scam. They dangle this thing they call the dream job. But what is it really? It's just a shiny carrot they wave in front of you while they've already strapped a yoke around your neck. They tell you, if you work hard, play by the rules, you'll make it. But the only thing you ever make is someone else rich. And you don't notice it at first. Oh no, you're too busy polishing your resume and buying khakis, because that's how they get you, open khakis. And have you noticed the language they use? It's always this inspiring corporate nonsense. Join our family, or be part of something bigger. Bigger than what? My crippling student loans. And you can't even laugh in the interview because you need that job. You sit there nodding, saying, yes, I'd love to synergize cross-departmental solutions. Meanwhile, you're thinking, I just need enough money to pay rent and maybe eat something besides instant noodles. And let's talk about those job ads. Oh, they're beautiful. They read like they were written by poets on ecstasy. We're looking for a dynamic self-starter with a passion for excellence. Someone who thrives in a fast-paced environment. What does that mean? You know what it means? It means they want somebody who'll work long hours, smile while they're doing it, and never ask for a raise. They should just write it honestly. We're looking for a sucker who will do 3 people's jobs for the price of 1. That's the ad. Simple, honest. But no, they can't write that because then nobody would apply. And the kicker is, when you get the job, it never looks anything like what they promised. Fast-paced environment. Yeah, that's a nice way of saying, oh, we're understaffed. And everything's on fire, but don't worry. There's free coffee in the break room. Oh yeah, free coffee. Like that makes up for your soul slowly leaking out of your body while you pretend to care about quarterly reports. They keep you caffeinated, so you don't realize you've been tricked. That's all it is. Coffee and fluorescent lights. It's like a casino. But instead of losing money, you're losing your will to live. Remember those guidance counselors? They always say to find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's beautiful, isn't it? Sounds like wisdom. Except, you know what really happens? You find a job you love and then some corporation buys it, slaps a barcode on it, and now you're working 70 hours a week doing the thing you love, but now it feels like punishment. You love baking? Now you're managing spreadsheets about flour distribution quotas. You love music? Now you're writing jingles for hemorrhoid cream. Find a job you love. No. Find a job you can tolerate without throwing yourself out a window. That's the real motto. And all along the way, they've got these little milestones to keep you hooked. Work hard, get promoted. Promotion. That's the bait. Oh, baby, the promotion. They hang it out there like a golden ticket. You picture yourself moving up, nicer office, better chair, more respect. You finally make it, right? And then what happens? You get promoted, and now you just have more work, more stress, and a different flavor of bullshit. Congratulations, you're the senior vice president of misery. Your prize, a title too long to fit on a business card, and the privilege of sleeping even less. And then there's the benefits. Oh, they brag about those. We've got great benefits. Benefits? You mean the basics of survival? You're bragging because you give me health insurance so I don't die? You're bragging because you'll let me take 5 days off a year if I get the flu. That's not a benefit. That's basic human decency. But they sell it like it's a cruise package. Join us and you'll get dental. Oh, dental. As if I should be on my knees thanking them for the chance to get a molar yanked without selling a kidney. And the funniest part, the absolute cherry on top, is the retirement pitch. They say you work hard for 40 years, and when you're old and broken, we'll let you enjoy the good life. That's the joke. They want you to believe that if you hand over your best years, they'll give you a few scraps at the end. By the time you're retired, you've got arthritis. A bum knee, you can't hear half the words on the television, but hey, you've got free afternoons. And they call that the payoff. You gave them your life, and in return you get discounted movie tickets and a gold watch that doesn't even work. See, the reason work feels like a joke is because it is a joke. You're not chasing the dream job. You're living in the punchline. The setup is all those promises they fed you since childhood. The punchline is you at 45 sitting in traffic late for a meeting about nothing, realizing this is it. This is the dream. This is what they sold you. And the laugh? The laugh's on you. You ever notice how the workplace has its own little culture, its own weird religion, its own set of commandments that everybody pretends to believe in, even though none of it makes sense? Nah, it's like stepping into an alternate universe where common sense doesn't apply, and the most ridiculous behaviors are treated like sacred rituals. From the moment you get hired, it's not about doing the actual job. It's about learning how to play the game. And the game is rules nobody bothered to write down, but somehow everyone already knows them. Except you. And that's why you spend your first year walking around like an idiot, wondering why everybody bows down to the almighty copier machine like it's a shrine. First of all, the language. Oh my God, the language. Corporate talk isn't English. It's some alien dialect invented to make stupid things sound important. They don't say, we're confused, and we have no plan. No. They say, we're in the middle of a strategic realignment. Doesn't that sound better? It's a fancy way of saying, oh, we have no idea what we're doing, but we're going to keep doing it with confidence. You can't just say, hey, we're broke. No. You gotta say, hey, we're experiencing temporary financial headwinds. What is that? Headwinds. You're not flying a plane, you're selling office supplies. Stop pretending you're an airline pilot. And every workplace has those meetings. You know the ones? Endless meetings where nothing ever happens. The same 6 people sitting around a table, nodding, taking notes like they're cracking the code of the universe. They call it a touching base. What are we, baseball players? I don't want to touch base. I want to go home. And there's always that one guy who loves meetings like it's his hobby. He shows up with graphs, charts, laser pointer, the whole deal. You ask him a simple question like, what time is lunch? And suddenly he's got a 20-minute PowerPoint about productivity metrics. And you got to play along, because if you don't, they'll brand you as not a team player. You know what that means? It means you didn't laugh hard enough at the boss's terrible joke about golf. That's all it takes. One wrong laugh and you're the office outcast. Oh, and you can't forget the holiday parties. The one night a year when everybody pretends to like each other while getting drunk on cheap wine and microwave meatballs. The boss gives a speech about how this company is a family and then spends the next year cutting benefits. And there's always that one guy who takes it too far. Karaoke, dancing on the table, spilling beer on the copier. And the next Monday, everyone's pretending it never happened. Nobody talks about it. It's like Fight Club, but with ugly sweaters. The culture is so absurd, so ridiculous, that if you step back and actually look at it, it's basically comedy in disguise. People sitting in cubicles, wearing little badges, worshiping the clock, speaking in acronyms, pretending the work is important. You know what the work really is. Yeah. Moving numbers from one spreadsheet to another, then sending it to someone else who moves the numbers back. That's it. That's the entire economy. A giant game of digital ping pong with no winner. And that's why work life feels like a joke. Because every single day you're surrounded by rituals, traditions, and nonsense that everybody pretends to take seriously. And the longer you're in it, the more you realize the punchline isn't coming at the end. The punchline is happening right now. Every time you sit in a meeting about meetings, every time you clap for someone's birthday, every time you get excited about Casual Friday. That's the joke. And the only way to survive it is to laugh. Because if you don't, you'll start believing the nonsense is real. You ever sit back and realize that your whole life is basically a time card? That's it. From the day you're old enough to walk, they're already training you to live by the clock. Or don't be late for school. You get to class on time. A lunch is from 12 to 12:30. By the time you're 10, you've already learned your whole purpose is showing up when somebody else tells you. They're not teaching you math or history, they're teaching you how to be on a schedule. That's the real subject. Punctuality 101. And if you're late, what happens? They slap you with a note. Same thing in the office, except now the note is a formal write-up. Congratulations, you've graduated from crayons to HR. And it doesn't stop. Once you hit the working world, the clock owns you. Every second is accounted for. You punch in, you punch out, and in between, every tick of that clock belongs to somebody else. You're not living your life, you're renting it out by the hour. And they don't even rent the good hours. No, they want the prime time, the daylight hours. The hours when you're awake and alive, they take those and they leave you the scraps, nights and weekends. That's your little slice of freedom. 2 days to cram in all the living you didn't get to do during the week, plus laundry, plus groceries, plus pretending you enjoy yard work. And then it's Monday again. Time's up. Back to the grind. And the funniest thing is they tell you this is freedom. You're free to choose your career. Free? You're not free. You're just picking which master gets your time. Do you want to sell your hours to a bank or a hospital or a factory? That's not freedom. That's a menu of cages. Here, pick your favorite set of bars. And everybody does it because what's the alternative? Living under a bridge with a shopping cart. So you sign up, you hand over your time, and you call it a career. Now let's talk about control. Because that's the whole trick. They don't just want your time. They want control over how you use it. You don't get to decide when you eat. That's scheduled. You don't decide when you pee. That's monitored. You don't even decide when you're allowed to feel tired. That's what coffee is for, so you can ignore your body and stay on schedule. And they package it all up like it's professional. Professional. You know what professional means? It means you're controlled but with a smile. You've still got the leash around your neck. You just don't bark anymore. And it's not just the hours at work. Oh no, they get you coming and going. Think about traffic. Every morning, millions of people sitting in cars, bumper to bumper, staring at the same license plate for an hour. That's not living, that's serving time. It's a mobile prison with cup holders. And what do you do while you're trapped there? You listen to the radio, some cheerful voice telling you about delays on the highway you're already sitting on. Like that helps. Traffic's backed up for miles. Yeah, thanks, buddy. I noticed. So you spend your best hours crawling to and from a place you don't want to be, to earn money you don't get to keep, to buy things you don't have time to use. That's the cycle. They take your time, give you money, then convince you to spend the money on junk that wastes more of your time. I'll buy this new gadget. It'll save you time? No, it won't. You'll spend 3 hours setting it up, another 2 hours reading the manual, and then it breaks. The only thing it saves is your ability to believe commercials. And when you finally think you're getting ahead, they change the rules. They dangle overtime. Overtime. Oh, that's the big prize. Work a little more, make a little extra. Extra? You're just selling more of your life at a discount. And they make it sound like a gift. We're offering you overtime. Offering? That's not an offer, that's bait. That's the same job with less sleep, and people fall for it. They line up for the privilege of giving away even more of themselves. It's insane. And the final scam, the retirement. That's the big setup. They tell you work hard for 40 years and then you can relax. Oh, sure. By the time you retire, you're too old to enjoy anything. They show you commercials of old couples walking on the beach holding hands. That's the fantasy. The reality is your knees hurt, your back shot. And the only beach you're seeing is the one on a calendar in your doctor's waiting room. They don't want you to retire young when you could actually do something. No, they want you to be worn out, worn down, barely mobile, so you're not a threat. Oh, they give you just enough money to keep you alive, and they call it a reward. That's not a reward, that's hush money. And what about vacations? Vacations are the little sampler platter of freedom. They give you 2 weeks a year to remember what life feels like. 2 weeks out of 52. And you better schedule it in advance because freedom needs approval. You ever try to take time off when it's inconvenient for the company? Forget it. Who really needs you here? Oh, really? Well, I really need to feel like a human being. But that doesn't matter. You're just a cog, and cogs don't get opinions. You know what the real punchline is? By the time people realize they've been tricked, it's too late. You hit middle age, and one day it dawns on you. You gave away your best years to meetings, deadlines, and alarm clocks. And what do you get in return? A drawer full of old ID badges, a closet full of ties, and a stomach full of antacids. That's the trade. And the real kicker is, you laugh about it with your coworkers like it's funny. Another 12-hour day, hey, hilarious. Nothing says comedy like your life evaporating. The whole system is one big setup. The setup is the dream, the career, the house, the security. The punchline is reality. You spent your life chasing something that never existed. And the laugh is bitter because it's on you. It's always been on you.